Even before the latest scandals, Joe Biden was a disaster for the Democrats. He actually wasn't doing that well in the primaries, and he was doing so poorly, in fact, I thought he wasn't going to win. It wasn't until he had one good performance in one state that the other nominees rallied behind him, and then he became the presumptive nominee, just edging out Bernie Sanders. But he has been hit with gaffe after gaffe, and not just that. Many of his interviews have devolved into word salad, leading high-profile individuals to question whether or not Joe Biden is suffering from dementia. But now he's got the Tara Reade allegations, and now he's got the Obamagate allegations. So this is nothing short of an unmitigated disaster for the Democrats. Because of this, there's been consistent speculation the Democrats would actually pull Joe Biden, not replace him with somebody else. Now, a bunch of articles emerged demanding they do just that, saying, please replace him. In fact, some conservatives even said, if the Democrats want to win, you got to get rid of this guy. Of course, many Trump supporters are laughing, saying, no, please run Joe Biden. Even leftist activists are saying, please stop. You're not going to win. And I have to wonder, based on the latest gaffe, Joe Biden flubbing the COVID number, saying America has lost 85,000 jobs. Wait, what? No, we lost millions. 85,000 jobs. He has no idea what he's talking about. I have to wonder if the Democrats are doing this on purpose. They're leaving Joe Biden here because it helps Donald Trump and makes him look better by through general relativity. Just placing Joe Biden next to Trump seems to make sense. But now we have some evidence to suggest the Democrats may actually be planning to get rid of Joe Biden. In an interview on Fox News, the DNC communications director said the Democratic convention must happen because, quote, we are not officially nominating Joe Biden in order to take Donald Trump. Now, this is strange, and I don't want to believe it, but there's a few they're confusing comments. Is she saying that they're not officially nominating Joe Biden to go after Trump, meaning they're going to pick somebody else? Or is she trying to say that the convention is about something else? Honestly, I don't know. And it may be a slip up because there is speculation that maybe Andrew Cuomo will step in. Some people think Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm not saying these things are definitive. That's just the speculation that's come out so far. So for the DNC communications director to say, we have to have this convention for this reason, as much as my initial gut reaction is no, that's not what she meant. I think she meant to say we have to have the convention because there's events, there's networking, there's other things we do. But she said it in a really weird way, which leads people to think they are planning on swapping out Joe Biden. Ever since the Tara Reade allegations, there have been speculation, I mean, probably even before this, that they would use this as a pretext to pull him out. Initially, the New York Times and many media wouldn't touch the story. They then kind of defended him. But then we started to see activists, personalities, and even MSNBC and the New York Times start questioning whether or not Joe Biden was fit for this role because of the allegations. Now, when you add on top the Obamagate investigation, the implications against Joe Biden, his stuttering, his stammering, his backpedaling, he's implicated in this. Maybe they really are planning on pulling him out, and maybe this was an accidental slip up. I don't know for sure. And I'll tell you what, part of me wants to say, no, that can't be the case. But let's take a look at what's going on, because it's just good news for Donald Trump. It's bad news for Joe Biden. We'll go over what's going on with the replacing Joe Biden theory, but I want to show you the media is coming after his campaign. They're saying it's a disaster. It really, really is. Trump is doing really well in the polls, and there's new evidence to suggest Joe Biden has some involvement in, let's just say, impropriety pertaining to the Michael Flynn case and Obamagate. Let's read the news. Before we do, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's several ways you can give, but the best thing you can do, share this video. Seriously, I don't have the massive marketing budget of these mainstream media corporations that get propped up by YouTube. But if you really think I do a good job, sharing the video is the best possible way to help out my channel. YouTube will prop up CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. I don't have that luxury. So with your help, it really does support the channel. Otherwise, if you just want to watch, kick back, enjoy me as I rag on Democrats once again, then hit the subscribe button, like button, notification bell. Let's read the news. Breitbart reports. Xochitl, I think that's how you pronounce it. Xochitl Hinojosa, communications director for the Democratic National Committee, sparked confusion this week after stating during an appearance on Fox News that it is crucial for the party to hold its convention because they are, quote, not officially nominating Joe Biden in order to take Donald Trump. Bill Hemmer of Fox News asked, he said, there's a real possibility the convention does not happen, or it happens in a virtual sense. Is that correct as of today? She responded, first of all, our convention has to happen because we are not officially nominating Joe Biden in order to take Donald Trump. So our convention is happening. There is business that has to happen. I got to say, it's a very confusing comment. And it sounds to me, based on everything we've seen, what she's saying is we're not nominating Joe Biden to go after to take Trump. Think about how they could change that sentence. We are nominating Pete Buttigieg in order to take Trump. You see how this plays out. Now, she said there's business that has to happen. They're confusing comments. She hasn't clarified them. And this tweet went viral yesterday. She did the interview yesterday. As of today, I've seen, or as of right now filming this video, there's no clarification. Maybe she slipped up. I got to be honest. But when you consider this, consider all these reasons they may want to get rid of Joe Biden. Coronavirus shows why Democrats need to dump Joe Biden. The Washington Examiner basically says that Joe Biden couldn't handle this pandemic. Before the pandemic, you basically had a guy that was nostalgia. You could vote for what it was like during the Obama years. He was old and endearing. But now he's lurking in a basement. He's saying things that make no sense. He can't address this crisis. So no, Democrats, if they want to win, they should dump Joe Biden now. This was April 14th. We see this article from Counterpunch, May 8th. Democrats dump Biden now. This makes the more political argument that Joe Biden just can't do it. He will not unify the left. He will not build the coalition needed to defeat Donald Trump. And then possibly one of my favorite stories in this whole cycle, a Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama ticket to replace Joe Biden. Is it even possible? Nah, I kid you not. 125,257 shares on the story. This is what I call viral. People are actually asking in high profile circumstances if Joe Biden will be removed. Now I'll tell you why. Joe Biden says women probably shouldn't vote for me if they believe Tara Reade's assault claim against him, and then admits he does not even remember her. Did you know that Joe Biden has now said on like 3 or 4 occasions not to vote for him? This makes me question everything about the Democrats' strategy. Earlier today, Joe Biden flubbed some numbers. He botches unemployment and fatality figures related to coronavirus, and it was embarrassing. They say presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden on Thursday fumbled his figures concerning lost jobs and lost lives tied to the coronavirus pandemic, stating at one point that only 85,000 Americans were out of work, saying, quote, "We're in the middle of a pandemic that has cost us more than 85,000 jobs as of today." He said, lives of millions of people, millions of people, millions of jobs. What? You know, I saw this and I tweeted, I have to wonder if the Democrats are trying to help Donald Trump win. And I'm kind of joking. Obviously, it's a bit facetious, but think about it. Propping up someone like Joe Biden in this way and then standing him next to Donald Trump makes Donald Trump look really, really, really good. Maybe it's just the last vestige of the crony Democrat establishment and they can't muster a real candidate, but this is what we get. Biden appeared to switch up the two staggering figures. We get it. It's a simple mistake, right? Maybe. But considering all of the interviews we've seen with Joe Biden, where he's just presented us with word salad, many people have questioned whether or not the man actually has early onset dementia, or I don't even know if it's early onset, if the man actually has dementia in its early stages. I believe even Joe Rogan mentioned this. But let's take a look at this story. I want to hop over to McClatchy and talk about the bold Democrat strategy of don't vote for us. This is confusing me. All right. My gut instinct is to just try and have, I guess, an optimism bias or a normalcy bias where I assume Joe Biden simply is making gaffes. These are all mistakes. But when you combine the scandal after scandal and statement after statement, Joe Biden saying, don't vote for me, it sounds like they're going to replace him. It really does. This is a story from McClatchy, January 29th. Biden keeps telling people to vote for someone else. He just did it again in Iowa. After being confronted on the campaign trail by a former lawmaker on his climate change policy, former Vice President Joe Biden said to go vote for somebody else. Biden's exchange with former Iowa State Rep Ed Fallon happened Tuesday as Fallon stopped to take a photo with the former vice president in Iowa. In a video of the interaction that was posted on Twitter, Fallon first tells Biden he would support him if he wins the Democratic nomination. Then he asks, but what are we going to do about climate change? He continues by accusing Biden of saying he wants to replace gas lines. That's not going to work, Fallon said. We've got to stop building and replacing pipelines. Biden responds by placing a hand on Fallon's chest and telling him, go vote for somebody else. Wait, hold on. What? Biden didn't even try to talk to this man. He didn't even try saying, well, listen, here's my plan. He just straight up said, go vote for somebody else. What? You'd think you'd at least try. Pete Buttigieg tried. Buttigieg had a question from a woman at a town hall who was pro-life and he's pro-choice. And he at least tried saying, I hope you consider me as someone to make the right choice, in this, political battle. Joe Biden, nah, you go vote for somebody else. All right, man. If you think that's the way you win, you're wrong. You've got to fight for people, argue. You've got to defend your positions. The two continue their conversation with Biden relating asking Fallon if he believes Bernie Sanders can do something to address climate change. Fallon goes on to say supporting Tom Steyer. Steyer later issued his own response in the video telling Biden, this is no way to treat an Iowan. Now, seriously, it is. Look, this is nuts. Biden had a similar exchange with a climate change activist in December when he was confronted over hiring someone who served on the board of a natural gas company. If you looked at my record and you still doubt about my commitment, then you should vote for somebody else, he told the activist in a video posted on Twitter by the climate group Sunrise Movement. Just 1 month earlier, Biden again dismissed an immigration activist who confronted the candidate over deportations during the Obama administration. You should vote for Trump, Biden told him in a video. So let me get this straight. Two different climate change activists, an immigration rights activist, and now the women who believe Tara Reade. Oh, you got a serious problem, Joe Biden, because there have been several high-profile blue checkmark personalities who have tweeted out, we believe Tara Reade, we'll vote for Biden anyway. But Biden just told these women not to do it. They were willing to support him even though they thought he had done this awful thing. Biden's telling you, no, don't vote for me if you believe it. He even said, Joe Biden said, I wouldn't vote for me if I believed it. Jeremy Scahill of The Intercept tweeted, people Joe Biden has publicly told not to vote for him. Immigrant rights activists, climate change activists, people who believe Tara Reade. Why should I believe that Joe Biden actually wants to win? I'm sorry, I do not. I think he is a placeholder candidate. And when you hear this woman, Xochitl Hinojosa of the DNC say, we are not officially nominating Joe Biden in order to defeat Donald Trump, I am sorry. At this point, I'm like, no way, dude. They are not running Biden against Trump. They wanted to get rid of Bernie Sanders. They did. Now they need someone else. That's creepy. You know why? It's bad enough our democratic institutions for the presidency is controlled by two private entities, the RNC and the DNC. But if they end up actually switching out Biden, it negates the vote of every Democrat. Perhaps that's what they were thinking. Look, they wanted Hillary Clinton last time, and she struggled. Hillary Clinton ran basically unopposed. These other people who ran dropped out almost immediately, and then it was Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders came close to winning, but then eventually dropped out and endorsed Hillary. Hillary Clinton couldn't beat Barack Obama in 2008, but she's wanted it every step of the way. Maybe they've realized she can't win the primary, and by having her exposed in the media for a long time, it would be really, really bad for her campaign. One of the disadvantages that Hillary Clinton had is her decades in office. This was weaponized against her. Donald Trump didn't. While there were things to criticize Trump for, and boy, did they, it wasn't policy related. It's an advantage of new, incoming politicians to not have that record because it's hard to attack them. You keep Hillary Clinton out of the limelight for a certain amount of time, Joe Biden gets pulled out because of a scandal, and then boom, there it is. A Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama ticket to replace Joe Biden, is it even possible? Well, maybe not Barack Obama. Maybe Michelle Obama. Maybe they try and go for some intersectional social justice play. I don't know. I honestly can't believe this. If this happened, I would laugh harder than I've ever laughed. Hillary Clinton as the nominee? No way. People hate her guts. But maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're just trying to keep her out of the limelight for long enough. Or maybe it'll really just be Andrew Cuomo. I honestly don't know. But I really don't think it'll be Joe Biden. Not after all this. Take a look at this story. Poll finds Trump ahead of Biden in 15 battleground states. Oh boy. Do they love showing off all these tweets where they claim they're winning? They're saying things like Donald Trump, he's losing now. It's slowly dawning on Trump that he's losing. The president is raging at his advisors as they try to explain where he went wrong. Donald Trump is losing? You know what they do? They're pulling polls nationally. Like, they say Joe Biden's leading Trump nationally by 6.3 percentage points. It's like, okay, right. Well, many of us didn't expect Trump to win in California and New York, so why do we care? Trump didn't win the popular vote last time. It's likely that he's going to dominate in the states where it matters, and that's always been his focus. The Atlantic also writes, Biden's virtual campaign is a disaster. You want to simultaneously write, a couple weeks ago, Trump is losing, but then come out and say Biden's a disaster? Look, I get it. They're not the same people. Maybe you need some kind of editorial strategy, Atlantic. But the fact is, the Republicans just won 2 special elections, crushing Democrats, overperforming. This sent shockwaves through the Democratic Party. They were hoping, even 538 wrote, they were hoping that this was going to signal a coming blue wave. It didn't. It's the opposite. Republicans overperformed. Now that's shocking. They at least thought they'd be competitive. It stands to reason when Donald Trump is on that ticket with the disaster of Joe Biden, we may actually see a red wave. Now, they also mentioned that Joe Biden is up in many other states. But as I noted the other day, Donald Trump has stealth voters. These are people who will publicly say they approve of, in polls, they'll say they approve of Trump's, job, but then say they wouldn't vote for him. Many people think that number indicates the Trump stealth vote because they approve of him. Yeah, they're probably going to vote for him, but they don't want to admit it. They're scared. Let's take a look at this story. They say a poll conducted by SSRS of 15 battleground states found former Vice President Biden trailing President Trump. The poll did not include different surveys of each of the 15 states, but surveyed 583 people across 15 states that were decided by 8 points or fewer in 2016. The margin for the battleground states alone was 5.3 points. That's a very awful margin of error, to be honest. They mentioned that they're battleground states, and they say Trump lead Biden in the poll across those states 52-45. So even within that margin of error, Trump is still winning. How do you think the media is handling all this? I'll tell you. We need to prepare for the possibility of Trump rejecting election results. From the Washington Post, Brian Klass writes, since 2017, so many events in U.S. politics that were previously unthinkable have come to pass. Don't believe me? A few days ago, the president of the United States baselessly accused a cable television host of murder, and it barely made a blip in the news cycle. The shocking has become unsurprising, almost routine under Donald Trump's unhinged presidency. We don't know whether Trump will be reelected, but as we head toward November, you have to ask yourself, if he loses, would it be more surprising if Trump graciously accepted defeat and congratulates his opponent, or if he claimed to be the victim of a rigged election and a deep state plot? The answer seems clear. Do you know what happened since 2016 when Trump won? Has it been Donald Trump who could not accept the results of the election? No, Donald Trump won, and the Democrats have not shut up about it. They lost, and they've been screeching at the top of their lungs ever since. Jonah Goldberg wrote an article that I quoted the other day. The reason Democrats are struggling today is because they still can't figure out what happened in 2016. And they keep doing things like this. Do you really think this article, this is a global opinion contributor for the Washington Post. Do you really think people are going to agree with this? It's you. It's the Democrats. And that's why they picked Joe Biden. They have no idea why they lost or how to win. Times have changed. Social media has changed things. Donald Trump is not your typical Republican candidate. And a lot of Republicans really hate the guy. The never Trumpers, they left. Well, Donald Trump won. They didn't cheat. The Democrats did. In this story from Fox News, Hemmer confronts DNC spokesperson over Flynn unmasking. I was asking for collusion, and I haven't heard it. This is part of the same interview where this woman, Xochitl, says, we're not officially nominating Joe Biden. Now, for some reason, not many outlets are covering the we're not officially nominating Joe Biden. I wonder why. Maybe they want to get a comment or a quote. I think that's fair. I'm doing commentary, so by all means, criticize me for jumping on this, but I think it's important. Bill Hemmer asked a very important question. And this is another reason I think Joe Biden is in trouble. Of course, many people in the media, CNN, you've got Vox, trying to argue Obamagate is a conspiracy theory. And sure, you can argue it's a literal idea of a conspiracy, but we actually have some creepy evidence. Many people sought to unmask a conversation between Michael Flynn and a Russian ambassador, Kislyak. They argued they didn't know who Flynn was in the first place, except some of the unmasking came after Obama's chief of staff unmasked Flynn, and then a week later, Biden did the same thing. I have to wonder why they would do that. But there actually is evidence. See, Bill Hemmer asks, is it a crime to talk to other countries in that period? Hemmer interjected, is that the law? Hinojosa suggested that former National Security Advisor Flynn was guilty of trying to interfere in the 2016 election and trying to go against the United States, an assertion Hemmer was quick to push back on. There was a suggestion that there was collusion. There has been no proof of that. Where's yours? I will try one more time. Why would Joe Biden want to know about Michael Flynn at that time? Hinojosa said she would leave that question to the investigators and called for a new president and a Justice Department who will remain independent and take into consideration the rule of law before anything else. Okay, Hemmer said. I asked it twice and I didn't hear an answer of proof. I was looking for a crime that I haven't heard it there. I was asking for collusion. I haven't heard it either. It's almost the summer of 2020 and there's no evidence of it. Yep, no evidence. Why would they seek to unmask Michael Flynn? It was a conversation with the Russian ambassador. These things should be considered routine. Even the Washington Post story that released the name of Michael Flynn said that he should be talking to the Russian ambassador. So why then did Joe Biden unmask Michael Flynn, or at least seek to? I honestly can't tell you. But his campaign is absolutely a disaster, and we all know it. Does anyone really think Joe Biden can win? I don't think so. It feels like a bad joke. And that's why I said I have to wonder if they're actually trying to help Donald Trump win. If the goal was to get Trump to win, I would say change nothing. Do exactly what you're doing. However, if they swap out Joe Biden, it all starts to make sense. Joe Biden is a terrible candidate, a gaffe king, word salad, scandal after scandal, telling people not to vote for him, giving them every reason to swap him out, giving them a way to have a placeholder candidate they could switch out at the last minute that you never got a chance to vote for, that also wasn't smeared in the press, and also the Republicans didn't get a chance to run opposition research on. It's a very clever strategy if that's what they end up doing. Think about it. Let's say they end up choosing someone like Cuomo at the last minute. Will the Republicans have an effective strategy to challenge Cuomo? No. In the meantime, Cuomo was on TV every day doing his press conferences with a skyrocketing approval rating, around 80%. It really does make me wonder. Andrew Cuomo is on a terrible job for New York, but his approval rating is impeccable. So what would happen if at the very last minute, in August, only a couple months out from the general, they bring in Andrew Cuomo with his massive approval rating? No chance for any smears. Now, even though I think the Republicans may be actually capable of putting out commercials and going after the character of Cuomo, they won't have the time they need to actually target his character. Right now, Joe Biden is under heavy scrutiny. There are videos popping out about him every day. He's being slammed, smeared, and dragged in the press. People are challenging him on Burisma. They're challenging him on Obamagate. It's making him look really bad. All of this ammo is being used against a man who in all likelihood won't be the nominee. So by the time everyone comes to hate the man and they bring in Cuomo, they'll have almost no time to learn anything about him. But maybe not Cuomo. Maybe it could be Michelle. Maybe it could be Hillary. I honestly don't know. It may be someone we just never expected. It could be someone that isn't overtly public. Or maybe it really could be Joe Biden. Let me wrap it up by saying this. The comments made by Xochitl Hinojosa, we don't know what she meant. She very well may have just meant to say the convention has to happen because there's a lot of other things we have to do. But she said we're not officially nominating Joe Biden. Who are they going to nominate? Or what did she really mean by that? Don't be surprised if they throw Andrew Cuomo in the mix. I'm telling you now. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews. And I will see you all then.